200-year-old Bible, Genesis chapter 7. Whatever is happening in your life, I just want to start by saying that Jesus loves you and has a plan for you. Jesus says in Matthew 11:28, he says it, telling us, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, for I am gentle and humble in heart. My yoke is easy and my burden is light." So he is saying to us, give me your problems, give me your challenges, I will give you rest. He tells us to lean into him, and we must lean into the Word of God. And you will see for yourself once you do so, how the burden and how the challenges and the weight just lifts from your shoulders. I can speak from personal experience on this. When I first came to the Lord, after almost being suffocated to death one night in my sleep, April 2023, this is the verse that I leaned on constantly. And it has got me through some really tough, challenging times. God bless you. Chapter 7. And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female. Of fowls also of the air by sevens, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth. For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And this is the deluge. These illustrations are magnificent. And every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. And Noah did according unto all that the Lord commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, into the ark, because of the waters of the flood, of clean beasts, and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth. There went in 2 and 2 unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days, that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, and the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day, were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the selfsame day entered Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them into the ark. They and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. And they went in unto Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in went in male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him. And the Lord shut him in. And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth. And the waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark went upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upwards did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered, and all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle and of beast, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died. And every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping things, and the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. This is Mount Ararat. Footnotes of chapter 7. The ungodly went on recklessly in their wickedness, despite of the holy life, the prophecy and the translation of Enoch, and of the appeals of Noah, who was a preacher of righteousness. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage, until the day that he entered into the ark. And now the rain fell and increased, while every heart was terror-stricken, every cheek turned pale, and every scoffing tongue was mute. The windows of heaven were opened, and all the fountains of the great deep broken up. The accumulated waters soon inundated the lowlands, rising on the hillsides. They became deeper and deeper, and then climbing up the face of the highest mountains, they triumphantly covered every summit. And all the flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of the fowl and of cattle and of beast, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. This was the wreck of the work of 2,000 years. The vast population of their villages and towns, and the varied products of their skill and toil, were overwhelmed in that immense inundation. Only one work which God had devised, and their hands had helped to rear, remained entire. The ark went upon the face of the waters. No compartment of it was invaded by the flood. Its window was stable. Its door was not sprung. And Noah and his family, with all the creatures that were there, were perfectly secure, for God was with him, and he is faithful to his word. Genesis chapter 8. And God remembered Noah, and every living thing, and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. And the waters returned from off the earth continually, and after the end, the 150 days, the waters were abated. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat, which is right there in Turkey. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. And it came to pass, at the end of 40 days, that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. And he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Also he sent forth a dove from him, to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her, and pulled her in unto him into the ark. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf, plucked off, so no one knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. And he stayed yet other 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the 1st month, and 1st day of the month, the waters were dried up from off the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark, and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And in the 2nd month, on the 7th and 20th day of the month, was the earth dried. And God spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee, of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful, and multiply upon the earth. And Noah went forth with his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. The dove. Every beast, every creeping thing, and every fowl, and whatsoever creepeth upon the earth, after their kinds, went forth out of the ark. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a sweet savour. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, neither will I again smite any more of every living thing as I have done. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, the summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. The footnotes of chapter 8. Here, for the first time in our survey of the past, we discover a locality which, precisely determined as it is on the earth's surface, excites a proportionately intense interest. Towering aloft in grandeur and sublimity from the Vale of Aras, the country of Armanus, is Mount Ararat. Consisting of 2 vast conical elevations, the altitude of one greatly surpassing that of the other. Nothing can be more beautiful in its shape or awful in its aspect, since all the surrounding mountains shrink into abject insignificance when compared with it, and it would seem to the traveller gazing upon it from the plain as if the hugest eminences of the globe had been piled together to form this amazing aggregate of earth and rock with its coronal of snow. With no hard features, rugged lines or unsightly prominences, All its parts appear in perfect harmony, and when lit up by the rays of the sun, its icy peaks rise majestically into the clear and cloudless heavens, while their reflection sends forth a dazzling and even overwhelming radiance. Unable to gaze continuously on the blinding glory of its summits, the eye wanders down its apparently indeterminable sides till it can be no longer trace their vast outlines in the midst of the horizon, when perhaps the eye, carried upwards by an irresistible impulse, is fixed again for an instant on the awful glare of Ararat, where the ark rested on the subsidence of the waters of the deluge. Ararat is called by various names, all of which have originated in the tradition that this mountain is the actual resting place of the ark after the flood. The Armenians call the entire region to this day Ararat. It is remarkable that when Adramelech and Sharezer smote their father Sennacherib with the edge of the sword, they escaped into the land of Armenia, or as it is given in the Hebrew, Ararat. Jeremiah speaks of the kingdom of Ararat, meaning doubtless the whole of Armenia. The ancient interpreters rendered the word Ararat in Genesis and the book of Kings by the word of Armenia. Moses of Chorin derives the name from Araji, Arat. The spot of Araji or Arajai who was king of Armenia in the days of Ceramus. And to this region the sons of men appear to have been restricted for a time in accordance with the wise and beneficent purposes of heaven. Noah, in order to ascertain the degree to which the deluge had subsided, sent out first a raven, which, meeting probably with food among the substances floating on the waters, showed no disposition to enter the ark again, but went forth to and fro. It was otherwise with the dove. She speedily returned again. When dispatched a second time, she came to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. Here is the earliest allusion to a tree more frequently named than any other in the sacred writings, and which above all others is general in the scenery of Palestine. Noah now knew that the waters were abated from off the earth, and when at the end of other 7 days he again sent forth the dove, she returned to him no more. The ark had probably been the residence of Noah and his family for a solar year, when there came the welcome assurance that the waters of the deluge had retired, and the earth was restored to its wonted fruitfulness. As within the ark were the bursts of gladness and the boundings of hope, and within the ark, and around all nature glowed in the brightness of the sun, Noah and his family left their temporary abode, never again to seek either security or peace beneath its roof. At the divine command it had been prepared, but like other temporary things, it was to pass away, bequeathing, however, an indelible and eternal remembrance. Noah's sacrifice was even more comprehensive than Abel's. Noah took every clean beast and of every clean fowl, and were consumed on the altar with which he built. The Hebrew words, a savor of rest, refer verbally to the name of Noah. The Chaldees say, the Lord accepted with favor his oblation. The Greek, the Lord smelt a savor of sweetness, the meaning evidently being that as sweet odors are acceptable and grateful to man, so was Noah's sacrifice to God. Wow.